Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, I want you to look around for a second. Literally everything around you, the device you're watching this on right now, the food sitting in your fridge, the concrete building your city, every single piece of it arrived via a complex, highly calibrated global supply chain. Today, we're going to unpack the hidden mechanics of that system. We're opening up the transport toolbox that actually drives the global economy.
All right, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover road transport, which is flexible but vulnerable, rail, which is heavy and fixed, air transport, fast but incredibly expensive, water, the slow engine of global trade, and finally, we'll look at a few modern innovations.
You know, it's best to think of transportation networks as a giant global logistics toolbox. Simply put, transportation is just carrying goods and people from point A to point B. But you can't just pick a mode at random. You have to perfectly align the vehicle with the exact physical and economic constraints of your cargo. Each mode serves a vastly different, absolutely crucial purpose.
Let's start with the first tool in our toolbox, road transport.
Picture this. A delivery truck is driving down a winding village road, and it pulls right up to a small shop's front door to smoothly unload its goods. That's unmatched flexibility. But suddenly, a massive rainstorm pours down, instantly causing a huge traffic jam on a flooded highway nearby. That agility comes with a massive weak point, exposure. A single severe storm can wash out a route and completely halt your supply chain. Roads are the economic backbone of last-mile delivery. They're cheap to use and absolutely perfect for fast transport of perishables. Think about getting fresh produce to a farmer's market before it spoils. But try moving a continent's worth of bulky, heavy materials on a fleet of trucks? Yeah. No way. Your profit margins would literally evaporate. Road transport just doesn't have the carrying capacity for long-distance, high-volume hauling.
So that begs the question. If trucks max out on efficiency pretty quickly over long distances, how do you move massive, incredibly heavy goods across an entire continent? That brings us to Section 2, rail transport.
Rail is the undisputed heavy lifter of land logistics. Imagine a massive, heavy freight train effortlessly gliding along dedicated steel tracks, carrying thousands of heavy steel coils across incredible distances without breaking a sweat. But there's a catch. Picture a passenger on a platform looking up at a digital station clock. That schedule is rigid and unchangeable. This immense capacity demands total operational inflexibility.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the trade-off. Rail is essentially the exact inverse of road transport. You're completely sacrificing that door-to-door agility, but in return, you unlock massive scale, better long-haul safety, and you're much less affected by adverse weather. It is highly efficient provided your cargo doesn't need to deviate even an inch from that steel path. Okay, let's shift our perspective again. What happens when roads literally don't exist, rails just can't reach the destination, and your cargo is so urgent that you need it there right this very second?
Time to look up. Section 3, air transport. Imagine a sleek cargo plane flying high above a rugged mountain range where roads simply don't exist. It bypasses all that terrain and lands smoothly at an advanced airport. Unmatched speed, right? But in your mind, picture a digital wallet graphic showing a steep, rapid drop in cash points. Yeah, that speed comes at an absolute premium. It is a highly, highly expensive mode of transport.
See, the sky provides natural pathways without needing physical routes built. But the massive investment costs, we're talking aviation fuel, huge runways, air traffic control towers, make it a logistical tool reserved mostly for high-value or highly urgent cargo. You don't fly concrete, right? You fly emergency medical supplies, disaster relief, or luxury items. It's the fastest option available, but totally unsuitable for short distances or shipping on a budget.
So we know air is fast, but super pricey. Let's pivot one more time. What if you were a business that needs to move tens of thousands of tons of goods across the entire globe, and you need to do it on a really tight budget?
Let's move to Section 4, water transport. Water transport is the undisputed grand engine of global trade. Picture an enormous container vessel slowly and steadily moving across a vast blue ocean highway that connects continents. Eventually, it pulls into an expansive commercial port dock that is absolutely packed with heavy international trading goods. It's slow, but it's incredibly powerful. Water transport is the literal lifeblood of international commerce. To put that into perspective, in places like India, 95% of trade by volume happens via these maritime routes. The oceans act as free, naturally made infrastructure. The trade-off, though, is that it's the absolute slowest mode in our toolbox. It offers no door-to-door service, it's at the mercy of deep sea weather perils, and it requires massive, multi-billion-dollar port investments to actually load and unload those giant ships.
So the crucial point here is that when you step back, you see a perfectly balanced matrix of trade-offs. It's like a giant puzzle. Need extreme speed? You have to pay the premium for air. Need raw, massive capacity on a budget? You have to accept the slow pace of water. Need last-mile delivery? You take the limited capacity of road. And if you need heavy goods moved dependably over land, you invest in rail. Building a global supply chain is all about mixing and matching these exact tools for peak efficiency.
Finally, let's briefly look at Section 5, Modern Innovations. We've also developed some highly specialized, futuristic lines of transport. To clear urban gridlock, we rely on the monorail and metro. Think of a sleek, single-track train effortlessly clearing street-level congestion, moving people rapidly and efficiently through our densest cities. Then, for extreme topography, there is the roadway. Imagine a cable car flying safely over a deep, plunging mountain valley. Where pouring asphalt or laying steel is either impossible or way too destructive, these heavy-duty cables move goods and passengers effortlessly over rugged terrain. And finally, operating silently right beneath our feet is pipeline transport. Picture a cross-section of a long-distance underground pipe pulsing natural gas smoothly forward. It's an invisible, continuous network pulsing vital liquids and fuels 24/7, completely immune to any surface traffic. So, we've mapped out a beautifully complex, highly interconnected global toolbox today, but I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. Because our entire modern world relies so heavily on this exact web of transport, what happens to the global economy when just one of these vital links breaks down? It's something to think about the next time a package arrives at your door. Thank you so much for exploring with me today.